Dear students, in this screen recording, I am covering the subject Indian accounting standards in several parts. In the present screen recording, introductory aspect is covered as part 1. In this screen recording, I am covering regulatory framework in India, Companies Act 2013, development in financial reporting in India, and the remaining aspect will be covered in next screen recording. Corporate governance framework in India. Ever since India's biggest ever corporate fraud and governance failure unearthed at Satyam Computer Services Limited, the concerns about good corporate governance have increased phenomenally. You must be knowing that in the Indian corporate world, number of corporate frauds have taken place, and the biggest among them may be considered as the fraud taken place at Satyam Computer Services Limited. There are, of course, other corporate frauds. For example, money laundering has taken place at ICICI Bank, etc. The Cadbury Committee defined corporate governance as the system by which companies are directed and controlled in its report called Financial Aspect of Corporate Governance, published in the year 1992. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD), which in 1999 published its Principles of Corporate Governance, gives a very comprehensive definition of corporate governance as under a set of relationships between a company's management, its board, its shareholders, and other stakeholders. So it's a relationship between the company's management, its board, its shareholders, and other stakeholders. The corporate governance also provides the structure through which the objectives of the company are set and the means of attaining those objectives and monitoring performance are determined. Good corporate governance should provide proper incentives for the board and management to pursue objectives that are in the interest of the company and shareholders and should facilitate effective monitoring, thereby encouraging the firms to use its resources more efficiently. In other words, corporate governance refers to the management of the company performing its functions more efficiently in the interest of the corporate house and the stakeholders together. The fundamental concern of corporate governance is to ensure that the conditions thereby organization's directors and managers act in the interest of the organization and its stakeholders and are held accountable to capital providers for the use of assets. It amounts to, that is, corporate governance requires the management to held accountable to the investors, that is, shareholders. To achieve the objectives of ensuring fair corporate governance, the Government of India has put in place a statutory framework. The Government of India, for the purpose of introducing good corporate governance in the corporate world, has introduced several regulatory measures so that there will be good corporate governance in the corporate world in India. What are those regulatory framework on corporate governance? Broadly speaking, the corporate governance mechanism for companies in India is enumerated in the following enactments, regulations, guidelines, and listing agreement. These 5 measures help in introducing good corporate governance as a compulsory requirement. The Companies Act 1913, inter alia, that is, among other things, contains provisions relating to constitution of the board, board meetings, board processes, independent directors, general meetings, audit committees, related party transactions, disclosure requirements in financial statements. Companies Act 19 mandates the corporate house, that is the management with regarding certain requirements with regarding constitution of the board, board meeting, board processes, etc. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, that is SEBI, provides guidelines. It is a regulatory authority having jurisdiction over listed companies, and it issues regulations, rules and guidelines to companies to ensure protection of investors. We shall elaborate these things in next screens. Standard listing agreement of stock exchanges for companies whose shares are listed on the stock exchanges. According accounting standards issued by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, ICAI. ICAI is an autonomous body which issues accounting standards providing guidelines for disclosure of financial information. In the same way, secretarial standards issued by Institute of Company Secretaries of India, ICSI. ICSI is also an autonomous body which issues secretarial standards in terms of the provisions of the New Companies Act. We shall elaborate these 5 provisions here. The key legal framework for corporate governance in India. In order to ensure good corporate governance in India, many regulatory frameworks are introduced. The first one and important one here is the Companies Act 1913. It is the New Companies Act, replacing the Old Companies Act 1956. The Government of India has enacted Companies Act 2013, may be referred as New Companies Act, which replaces the erstwhile, that is the former Companies Act 1956. The new act has greater emphasis on corporate governance through the board and board processes. There are many provisions in the new Companies Act which makes corporate governance a mandatory thing. The new act covers corporate governance through its following provisions. It has introduced significant changes in the composition of the board of directors, how the board should be constituted, what are the compositions. Every company is required to appoint one resident director on its board. There should be, the nominee directors shall no longer be treated as independent directors. Listed companies are required to appoint independent directors on their boards. Listed companies shall be required to appoint at least one woman director on its board. New Companies Act for the first time codifies the duties of the directors. New Companies Act has specifically mentioned the duties of the directors. The New Companies Act mandates following committees for prescribed class of companies. For certain companies, specified companies, these are the committees should be formed. Audit Committee, Nomination and Remuneration Committee, Stakeholders Relationship Committee, Corporate Social Responsibility Committee. Few of the provisions of the New Companies Act which are instrumental in providing good corporate governance structure. These are the sections specially introduced for introducing corporate governance as a mandatory thing. Section 134 mandates to attach a report to every financial statement by the Board of Directors containing all the details of the matter, including the statement containing director's responsibility. This section 134 requires the Board of Directors to give certain details regarding how they have fulfilled their responsibility. Section 177 requires Board of Directors of every listed company to constitute an audit committee in the stated manner. Section 184 mandates every director of the company to disclose his or her interest in any company or companies, body corporate firms or other association of individuals. This section mandates the director of the company to disclose his or her relationship with other companies or associates or body corporate in their first meeting, and if subsequently if any director gets in the association or relationship with other companies, that should be disclosed in the next meeting. And actually this section has been introduced after several corporate frauds, like for example ICICI money laundering, wherein the chairman's husband was having relationships with other companies Most of the companies were fictitious companies. Securities and Exchange Board of India guidelines. SEBI is a regulatory authority established on April 12, 1992. It was established with the main purpose of curbing malpractices and protecting the interest of investors. Its main objective is to regulate the activities of stock exchange and at the same time ensuring the healthy development in the financial market. In order to ensure good corporate governance, SEBI came up with detailed corporate governance norms. As per the new rules, the companies are required to get shareholders' approval for RPT, that is, related party transactions. If any company is having financial transactions with any other companies and if the um, transaction is of substantial financial interest, that should be disclosed. It established a whistleblower mechanism, clear mandate to have at least one woman director in the board, and moreover it elaborated disclosures on pay packages. For example, you must be knowing that there was some dispute between the old management and the new management of Infosys with regarding pay packages of the new management. And such things should be disclosed by the board. Whistleblower policy is also added in the revised clause whereby the directors and employees can report any unethical behavior, any fraud, or if there is a violation of code of conduct of the company. In case if any of the director or employee of the company finds that there is some unethical behavior or fraud that is being taken place in the company, they have to report the aspect to the concerned agencies, that is regulatory bodies. SEBI also implemented various regulations for effective working of the company. Few of these regulations are as follows. SEBI Issue of Capital and Disclosure Requirements Regulation 2009, SEBI Listing Obligations and Disclosure Requirements 2015, SEBI Prohibition of Insider Trading Regulations 2015. SEBI came up with many other regulations like regulation on fraudulent and unfair trade practices, regulations on substantial acquisition of shares and takeovers, etc. The main aim behind such regulation, rules, etc. is to ensure good corporate governance in a company. Most of the provisions that are made by the SEBI is to protect the interest of the stakeholders of the company. Standard listing agreement of stock exchanges. Stock exchanges is also responsible for protecting the interest of the investors. It is for all those companies whose shares are listed on stock exchange. All the companies are required to file the listing agreement of the stock exchange where its shares are listed. Accounting standards issued by ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. ICAI is a statutory body established by Chartered Accountants Act 1949. It issues accounting standards for disclosure of financial information. The Ind AS, which are covered in these series of screen recording, are issued by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Section 129 of the Companies Act 2013 states that financial statements of a company shall comply with the accounting standards notified under Section 133 of the Act. It also states that the financial statement shall give true and fair view of the state of affairs of the company. That means there is requirement that the financial statements that are produced by a corporate house should depict true and fair view of the state of affairs. It should give correct picture of the financial position of the company on the date given. Section 133 states that central government may prescribe accounting standards as recommended by ICAI. Accounting standards are formed by ICAI and the government accepts such standards and introduced through ICAI. Accounting standards are provided so that good corporate governance can be ensured in a company. Secretary standards issued by ECSI, like Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Institute of Company Secretaries of India also provide certain requirements as mandate thing to the company secretary. ICSA is an autonomous body constituted by the Company Secretaries Act 1980. It is a body to regulate and develop the profession of company secretaries in India. It issues secretarial standards as per the provisions of the Companies Act 2013. The Secretary of the Company is appointed as per the provisions of the Companies Act 13 under certain conditions. Section 118(10) of the Companies Act states that every company shall observe secretarial standards specified by Institute of Company Secretaries of India with respect to general and board meetings. The secretary will have the duties and responsibilities as prescribed by Institute of Company Secretaries of India. It is mentioned in two parts, Secretarial Standard 1 and Secretarial Standard 2. Secretarial Standard 1 on meetings on board seeks to prescribe set of principles for conducting meetings of board of directors. How the meetings are to be conducted is mentioned in Secretarial Standard 1. Secretarial Standard 2 prescribes a set of principles for conducting and convening general meetings. This standard also deals with procedure for conducting e-voting and postal ballot. That is, these are the responsibilities of the Secretary for conducting e-voting and postal ballot procedures. Setting up of NFCG and launching websites like www.investorhelpline.in and www.watchoutinvestors.com. Setting up of NFCG, National Foundation for Corporate Governance, in partnership with ICAI, ICSI and CII with the vision to foster the culture of good corporate governance and to set a framework related to best practices, ethics and processes. It means NFCG in partnership with other regulatory bodies has taken the responsibility of fostering, that is developing the culture of good corporate governance in companies. Launching websites like www.investorshelpline.in and www.watchoutinvestors.com also shows the interest of the government in developing the corporate governance in corporate house by helping the investors to express their grievances through these helplines. I will end up this screen recording, and in next screen recording I will elaborate on other aspects relating to the introductory aspect of in AS. Thank you.